All right, welcome everyone to the Judiciary Committee hearing, decision-making hearing. This is our 10:30 agenda. 31 bills to make decisions on, so we'll go ahead and get started. First up is Senate Bill 2090, allows licensed mental health counselors to be appointed as child custody evaluators. The recommendation on this one is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2090, Chair's recommendations to pass as is. Chair Rhodes.
Aye.
Vice Chair Woods, aye. Senator Chang.
Aye.
Senator San Buenaventura. Excuse. Senator Owa. Excuse. The measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2108. This amends the factors a family court is required to consider in deciding whether the court may waive jurisdiction over a minor or adult held for criminal proceedings. Recommendation here is also to pass unamended. Questions or concerns on SB 2108? Seeing none, Senator Gabbard.
Recommendations to pass as is. Chair Rhodes.
Aye.
Vice Chair Woods, aye. Senator Chang. Senator Owa.
Aye.
Senator San Buenaventura is excused. The measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2128. This provides that any firearm or motor vehicle possessed and used by a person who hunts on private land without the permission of the owner or occupier of the land should be forfeited to state pursuant to Chapter 712A, and authorizes the court to reduce the penalty from forfeiture to a fine of a certain amount for the first offense. Recommendation on 2181 is it has a bad date, but to accept, sorry, 2128. Is that matching up?
Yeah.
Okay. To pass with an amendment, first of all, it has a bad date, but I'd like to accept the Cattleman Council's amendment and raise the fine for the first offense to 2,000 instead of 700. I think it was 750. 750. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
Chair's recommendation on SB 2128 is to pass with amendments of the members present. Are there any no votes or reservations?
No.
No vote for Senator Owa. The measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Next up is SB 2135. This establishes the offense of non-consensual disclosure of an intimate image. Recommendation on this one is to pass with SMA text, so with amendments. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2135, recommendations to pass an amendment of the members present. Are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none.
Hang on just one second. SB 2135. Senator San Buenaventura.
Aye.
Offense of non-consensual disclosure of an intimate image. Okay. All right.
Measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2140 relating to county labor standards, authorizes the counties to require contractors to disclose information regarding their employees' wages, benefits, hours, and employment status. Recommendation here is to pass with amendments. I'd like to accept the Carpenter's amendment, which is upon the revocation or suspension of a building permit pursuant to subparagraph B, the county shall notify the property owner within 5 business days and shall provide the owner an opportunity to apply for an expedited transfer of the permit to a replacement contractor. The county shall process the application within 5 business days of receipt of a complete application. The replacement contractor shall demonstrate compliance with all applicable licensing and labor laws. Previously approved plans, conditions, and inspections shall remain valid for purposes of the expedited transfer unless the scope of work is materially altered. And we'll also put a bad effective date on it, March 22, 2075. And we do have prior concurrence. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
On SB 2140, Chair's recommendations to pass with amendments with all members present. Are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Next up is SB 2169. This authorizes the Agribusiness Development Corporation to acquire by condemnation any real property or interest in real property under certain conditions. Okay, the recommendation, it has a bad date. There is some question about whether it was intended to be for condemning only private land or whether they could condemn other state agencies, but I don't have any prior concurrence, so we'll just go ahead and pass it as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
Chair's recommendation is to pass SB 2169 as is. Are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none. the
Oh.
measure is adopted.
Oh, sorry. Got confused. I'm good.
Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2174. This authorizes Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity to declare an emergency quarantine when it's been reasonably determined that there's a threat to agriculture or the environment in the state. Recommendation is to pass with SMA text only. And yes,
That's with amendments, right?
with amendments.
Yeah. Chair's recommendation on SB 2174 is to pass with amendments. Are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2175. This is relating to disposable electronic smoking devices beginning January 1st, 2027, prohibits selling, offering for sale, or distributing certain disposable electronic smoking devices. The recommendation here is to pass with amendments. We'll accept DOH's recommendation to place the ban in Chapter 328J smoking, which will allow DOH to enforce it. This is sort of informal. So Senator San Buenaventura, this came out of your committee. Is that an acceptable alteration?
That's fine.
And then I'd also like to accept DOH's recommendation to insert a penalty section into the bill with a $500 a day, $500 per day fine for violation.
Of each violation?
Per day is what they'd ask for.
No, it says per day of each violation, so for
Of- yeah.
each,
500 per day of violation.
so for each
Uh,
for each vape cartridge, you're gonna do $500?
No, I don't think that's the way it is.
Per day, but not per each violation.
So what DOH had suggested was violations of subsection A are subject to a fine of blank
So I'm
dollars.
not gonna agree to that portion, not $500 per day for each vape product.
No,
We'll agree with you $500 per day, period.
no, what they suggested was violation of subsection A are subject to a fine of blank dollars per day of each violation. So I don't know what that,
Okay, so you could leave it blank, that's fine.
okay, that's fine. We'll do that. Other questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2175, recommendation to pass with amendments. All members present, any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2189 relating to Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation repeals requirements that the chairman of the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation Board of Directors be a public member. Recommendations to pass with an amendment and just put a bad date on it, March 22, 2075. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2189, the recommendation is to pass with amendments. Any no votes or reservations?
No.
No vote for Senator Hawai'i, and the measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2192, also relating to housing, authorizes the county to reduce the number of housing units that may be built within any geographical area of the county, only if the county increases the number of housing units that may be built elsewhere in the county, such that there is no net loss in residential capacity. Recommendation here is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2192, the recommendation is to pass unamended. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Next up is SB 2240, requires any petitioner for a district boundary amendment to obtain a written statement from the Commission on Water Resources Management on water availability in the hydrologic unit or units where the parcel is located and provide that certification to the Land Use Commission. Recommendation here, it does have a bad date, and we SMA text only. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2240, recommendations to pass with amendments. Are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure passes.
Okay, thank you. Next up is SB 2253. This amends the offense of negligent injury in the first degree to include injuries negligently inflicted by intoxicated drivers. Recommendation here is to make it effective on July 1, 2026 per the judiciary's testimony and accept the city and county prosecutor's amendment, i.e. restate the phrase under the influence of alcohol or drugs instead of just cross-referencing to a different section or different, section, I guess is the right word. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
On SB 2253, recommendations to pass with amendments. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2294, specifies that all condominium associations, boards, and managing agents are required to comply with any applicable laws, rules, and regulations. The lawyers have convinced me that it doesn't actually do anything, that all those entities are required to follow the law already, so I'm going to defer that one indefinitely. SB 2298 requires cooperative housing corporation proxy forms to include certain language related to the selection options for proxies. Recommendation here. My hands weren't numb from the cold. To pass an amendment, technical amendment, really change the reference to owner on page 2, line 6 to shareholder, as co-ops have shareholders, not owners. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
Recommendation on SB 2298 is to pass with amendments. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2312 relating to government contracts. Would amend the Uniform Information Practices Act to require the contractual party of each contract to perform an agency function to retain records following the retention schedule of the agency, and to provide the agency access to the records upon request. Recommendation here, it does have a bad date. The recommendation here is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
On SB 2312, the recommendation is to pass as is. Any no votes or reservation? Hearing none, the measure passes.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2314. This requires that whenever there's a difference between the English and Hawaiian version of a law that the Hawaii version of law that is material to its interpretation, priority shall be given to the language that aligns with the intent of the legislature as evidenced by legislative history, context, and purpose, and clarifies that Hawaiian shall not be required for public acts, which is current law, but that it is welcome. Recommendation here is to pass it unamended. Questions or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
On SB 2314, recommendations to pass as is. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2322. This requires an environmental assessment be conducted and an environmental impact statement be prepared for any proposed use within historic properties designated by the Hawaii or National Register of Historic Places important to Native Hawaiian people or another ethnic group of the state, or determined to be eligible as a traditional cultural property or placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Recommendation here is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
SB 2322, recommendation to pass as is. Any no votes or reservations? Measure passes.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2340 relating to community care foster family homes, clarifies that individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities who meet an intermediate care facility or nursing facility level of care shall not be denied residency in a licensed community care foster home solely because of their disability or enrollment in a specific Medicaid waiver program. The recommendation here is to pass with SMA text only. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2340, recommendations to pass with amendment. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure passes.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2347. This requires the Office of Consumer Protection to periodically publish an accessible multilingual notice of tenant rights. Recommendation here is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
SB 2347, recommendations to pass as is. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2363. This authorizes the counties to close public lands when necessary to protect public health, ensure public safety, or preserve natural or cultural resources. The recommendation here is to also pass as is. Questions, concerns?
Concern.
Senator Watt.
It's so cold. I'm debating talking. Chilled my thoughts. I may have not said anything, but it seems that this session so far, last week we had a bill that the Sierra Club was saying would privatize beaches. Over here we have allowing our government to restrict our access of public spaces for reasons that they seem valuable. But I think it's invaluable that us as locals, Hawaiians especially, have our rights to access public places. And so no on this one respectfully.
Understood. It will not affect the constitutional rights of hunting and gathering rights. So we can't change the constitution with the statute, but I understand.
Thank you.
Other concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2363, recommendation to pass as is. Are there any no votes or reservations?
No.
No vote for Senator Owa. The measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2372 relating to trees, establishes base selection criteria for exceptional trees, establishes the significant tree designation, selection criteria, and related processes. Recommendation here is to pass with SMA text only. Questions or concerns?
Comment?
Yep. Senator Walk.
Sorry for holding this
Nope,
up.
not at all.
This one I would say we would be for if we could have if the Senate minority could have an appointee on the commission. Otherwise, it's a no, just because, when I came in, I tried to plant food trees. State was kind of against it for liabilities. I would want our voice to be in on this one.
I'm sure the chair of the Ag and Environmental Committee will take that into consideration.
Yes.
Other questions or concerns?
But no for now, unless we get that. Thank you.
Understood. Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2372, recommendations to pass with amendments. Are there any no votes or reservations?
No, thank you.
Senator Wah, no vote. The measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2377 relating to property damage of critical infrastructure facilities, establishes the offense of criminal property damage to critical infrastructure facilities a Class C felony, and expands the term critical infrastructure to include broadband and cable networks. The recommendation here is to pass with an amendment per the Honolulu prosecutor's suggestion to define damage. Damage means any impairment to the integrity or availability of data, a program, a system, a network, or computer services. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2377, the recommendation to pass with amendments. Any no votes or reservations? Measure passes.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2392. This specifies that operating a vehicle under the influence of an intoxicant while a highly intoxicated driver is a misdemeanor for a first offense or any offense not preceded within a 10-year period. Specifies and imposes additional sentencing and probation requirements for a person convicted of a misdemeanor operating a vehicle under the influence of an intoxicant offense. Recommendation here is to pass with just text, SMA, and it looks like there's some other technical amendments as well. Is that it? Okay, we did, okay. Just text. Questions or concerns?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
Go.
gonna be voting with reservations, noting the judiciary's testimony and the fact that we had an original DUI of misdemeanors and it clogged up the courts, and every time there has been a trial for a DUI, the prosecutor lost. So by the idea behind actually ratcheting it back was to have the DUI court, which has been highly successful. Unless we figure out a way to not clog up the system, I'm gonna be voting with reservations on this.
Okay, understood. I don't think there's any question that it will increase cases. Yeah, other concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
It's with amendments.
Yes, tax.
SB 2392, Chair's recommendations to pass with amendments. Any no votes or reservations? Senator San Buenaventura with reservations. Measures adopted.
Thank you very much. Next up is SB 2397. This establishes that when a neighborhood board of the city and county of Honolulu has a vacancy, a majority of all seats that are filled shall constitute quorum to conduct business, and a majority vote of the members present at the board's meetings validate an act of the board as part of its official business. Recommendation here is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2397, recommendation to pass unamended. Any no votes, reservations? Hearing none, the measure adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2408. 2408 allows terminally ill patients and qualifying patients over 65 years of age with chronic disease to use medical cannabis within specified healthcare facilities under certain conditions. The recommendation here is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
SB 2408, recommendations to pass unamended. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure passes.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2423 relating to zoning, prohibits the counties from imposing certain lot requirements on lots zoned for housing on parcels of land located within the urban district for purposes of subdivision development or the issuance of a building permit with certain exceptions. The recommendation here is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not-
Concern.
No, Senator Watt.
We'll be voting no on this one, just because of the community I represent. We don't want to see 10,000 square foot lots being split up 4 ways with 4 homes on them. So respectfully, no, thank you.
Understood. Other concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2423, recommendation to pass unamended. Are there any no votes or reservations? Noting a no vote for Senator Wah. The measure is adopted.
24, 25, is that yes?
Yes.
Next is SB 2425. This requires health insurance carriers to honor a patient's written assignment of benefits to a substance use disorder treatment provider. The recommendation here is to pass with an amendment just to clarify what is meant by a valid written assignment. Instead, use the phrase a written assignment that is validly executed in compliance with its title. And that would be the only change. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2425, recommendation to pass with amendments. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2429 relating to traffic safety, establishes a framework for use of intelligent speed assistance technology for habitual speeders. The recommendation on this one is to pass unamended. Questions or concerns?
Question.
Sir, Senator Wah.
What is what constitutes a habitual speeder? I wasn't able to look that up.
It's discretionary. It's whatever the judge decides based upon prior.
How many times?
And it doesn't,
No.
doesn't say whether or not it's within like a 20-year period.
Oh, okay.
It's.
Okay, thank you for
No,
that.
the bill defines it. It gave factors to the judge to decide. It was discretionary, so it's pretty vague. Okay,
That sounds correct to me.
Okay,
yeah.
thanks for that. We'll be voting no, just, I mean, I don't need to explain, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I looked that up too.
Any other concerns?
I'm just going voting with reservations because of the vagueness.
Okay. Anything else? If not, Senator Gabbard.
On SB 2429, recommendation to pass unamended. Any no votes or reservations?
No.
No vote for Senator Wah.
Reservations for Senator.
Reservations for Senator San Buenaventura. The measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Next up is SB 2436 relating to charitable solicitation, requires professional solicitors operating public collection receptacles to solicit donations of non-perishable tangible property who later resell the items to deposit funds with charitable organizations within a specified time frame. Recommendation on this one is to pass with technical amendments only. Questions or concerns? If not, Vice Chair.
SB 2436, the recommendation is to pass with amendments. Any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Next up is SB 2463. This lowers the blood alcohol content threshold for driving while under the influence of an intoxicant from 0.08 to 0.05. Now, we've seen this bill before, so vote your conscience as you always do. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Gabbard.
That's as is.
I'm sorry. I believe so. Just a second. Yes, as is.
Recommendations to pass SB 2463 as is. Any no votes or reservations?
Reservations.
Reservation from Senator Buenaventura. The measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is, I believe, the last one, SB 2471, number 31 on our agenda. This has to do with artificial persons, i.e. corporations, LLCs, et cetera. It reaffirms that artificial persons created under state law possess only those powers that are necessary, convenient to carry out lawful business and charitable organizational purposes. Some information came available to us in the very recent past, so I'd like to just defer this until March 5, 2026 at 10:02 in this room 016. I believe that's it.
Wow.
Last one. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for all for being here, and we are adjourned.